Happening now, Chautauqua County's executive, he's discouraging discrimination based on vaccination status. Plus, a look at the effort to help a Fredonia family after a tree smashed through their home.
Well, those winds have finally settled down, but they're going to turn breezy once again for tomorrow. And is there any sign of that colder air? We'll talk about it in detail next as the news at noon starts now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now. This is WNY News Now with live breaking news.
A student was taken to UPMC Chautauqua Hospital after they were hit by a vehicle near Purcell Middle School this morning. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould, and we start with breaking news. Jamestown police tell us just a little while ago that the middle schooler was struck by a vehicle on Hazeltine Avenue just before the intersection with Baker Street this morning at about 8:20. The child, police say, suffered very minor injuries and was taken to the hospital for evaluation. He is expected to recover. Officials say this appears to be an accident, with the student stepping out in front of the car. The student was not in a crosswalk at the time, police report. The only two crosswalks in that area are in the intersection of Hazeltine and State Street and Hazeltine and Baker Street. In a statement, Jamestown Public Schools tells us they will increase supervision and monitoring during arrival and dismissal times to prevent further incidences. The school also plans to work with the city in exploring installing additional crosswalks in that area. Additionally, the school says they will work with students and their families to double down on the importance of traffic safety. Well, as New York State reinstates mask mandates, some fear the divide amongst residents will become more apparent as we approach this busy holiday season. Our Julia Gress is breaking down what's being done to fight the stigma here at the local level.
County Executive P.J. Wendell is encouraging people not to distinguish others based on their vaccination status.
We're now basing our judgment on individuals based on whether or not you're vaccinated. You know, I've had people say, you need to reach out to your caucus and get the Republicans to get vaccinated. Since when has this been a political battle? Other than those who make it.
Throughout the pandemic, Wendell tells us he has always stuck to the science, something he wishes anti-vaxxers would consider.
That shot, when it goes in your arm, doesn't know if you're, black, white, Hispanic, Caucasian, Asian. Doesn't matter if you're Republican, conservative, Democrat, Muslim, Catholic, Jewish. It doesn't matter. That vaccine works for people. And we need to get away from the stereotypes of certain individuals that are vaccinated and certain that aren't.
He furthers that the only true way to end this pandemic is to come together, which is one of the reasons Wendell says the county will not enforce the mask mandate. Though the executive is vaccinated and believes that wearing a mask helps to slow the spread of COVID-19, he does not believe the mandate is the best strategy, as it causes small businesses to become enforcers and leads people to become confrontational. Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. As we first reported yesterday, Executive Wendell says if the state wants this new mask mandate enforced, they will have to do so on their own. Well, the Supreme Court yesterday rejected two emergency requests to block New York's vaccine mandate for healthcare workers. The justices Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, and Clarence Thomas dissented. One challenger to the vaccine mandate came from three nurses in a group called We the Patriots USA. They took issue with the fact that the requirement allows medical exemptions for objections, but not for religious exemptions. Doctors who say they have treated many patients with COVID filed a separate challenge with the High Court. The mandate is currently in effect and covers workers in hospitals and nursing homes, home health agencies, adult care centers, as well as in hospice fields. The justices have now allowed the state mandates from Indiana, Maine, and New York to remain in effect. Well, members of Jamestown City Council failed to override the restoration of funding for the Human Rights Commission during a special meeting last night. The council attempted to override a total of 6 vetoes from Mayor Eddie Sundquist on the adopted 2022 city budget. One of the vetoes specifically involved the council's withdrawing $6,000 of funding from the budget for the Justice Commission. Human Rights Commission, rather. Councilman at Large Jeff Russell spoke to us prior to the vote. He says that funding the commission goes against the precedent of not funding other communities in the past.
I think about the Veterans Commission or the Planning Commission, and there's no other commissions that are having monies that are allocated to them. If this passes tonight, then I'm recommending that these commissions step forward and also request funding. I feel like there's some favoritism going on, or some of the good old boy network going on with strictly picking one commission out and funding that commission. I don't think it's right, and I can't support that.
Now, prior to the vote, the council also voted to appoint incoming Jamestown City Council Court Judge George Penabianco to a 10-year term. Council President Tony Dole says the state informed local officials that Penabianco would need to be appointed for a decade behind the bench. He's replacing Judge Fred Lawson, who has reached the mandatory retirement age. Well, a fundraiser is underway to help a family who's now homeless after 2 massive trees fell on their Fredonia home during this weekend's windstorm. Our Bronson Rasmussen joins us live in the newsroom with more on their story and, Bronson, how the community can help.
Justin, Michelle Pesch was on the phone with her mother, Bobby White, at the time Saturday, who remembers the chilling events that transpired at her daughter's Main Street apartment.
She was like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, a tree just smashed into my upstairs in my house." And then she went to open the front door and a tree smashed down on her car, totally wiped her car out.
Pesch, upon seeing what was happening, took all of her children out of the house and to the neighbors, an act that White believes is nothing less than heroic.
And I cannot believe that she picked up all of them, 3 children, and carried them out. That's a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old baby. And his name is Hendrix. He's quite big for a little baby. And, she's my hero.
With the apartment declared unsafe, the family has lost all of their belongings, only making it out with the clothes on their back. To make matters worse, their Christmas presents were also likely destroyed.
And the children, they're so worried because their elf was in the house, and they're worried that their elf on the shelf is not alive anymore because, that elf is magical and it comes with them. And they're like, "Grandma, did my elf die in the house?" And I was like, "No, but Santa probably took him back for a little while."
White is asking for donations via her GoFundMe page to help her daughter get back on her feet. Those who want to drop off physical donations like clothing, furniture, or toys are asked to visit Can Kings in Fredonia. Justin, back to you.
Oh, Bronson, thanks for sharing that with us, and we'll be posting that GoFundMe page up a little bit later as well on WNYNewsNow.com. Certainly so thankful, though, in the end that the family was able to get out unharmed. So, Bronson, thank you. And we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. We appreciate you joining us here on Facebook Live and, of course, channel 716 on Roku. If you haven't added this to your channel lineup, be sure to do so. It's free. Just simply search channel 716. It's great to see Wendy. Good to see Samantha, Mike, Willie, and Christine. Hopefully you all are having a great day. We appreciate you tuning in. Well, now let's get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us live with a look at that. And boy, oh boy, it is a sunny day out there, Dakota. And I hear in the short term, we're not going to be feeling anything like winter.
No, we will not be. That winter air is bye-bye. Gone. See you later. And but it will hopefully be coming back by the end of the week. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. That's a tease for you, as we call in the media business. So a live look at the Randolph Beaches and Cream Sky Cam shows you, that sun is out in Randolph, and it's pretty much that same way across all of the southern tier, and you're not going to find a cloud on the satellite imagery across the region, and it's going to remain that way through the day. The clouds we've had have started to break apart now, and so we should be partly to mostly sunny for much of the day today, so get out and enjoy it while you can. 47 was the high yesterday. That's 10 degrees above average. We're going to stay above average through pretty much mid this week. So December not coming in yet for a while here. 62 and 6 below are the record highs and lows. So through the afternoon, those early clouds break apart. We've already seen those clouds break apart. Partly to mostly sunny, still mild, 42 to 49 with a light wind. Now the wind does come up as we go into Wednesday. We'll talk about that along with some near record warmth. Again, we'll talk about it in detail with that Ultimate Satellite Solution 7-day forecast later on in the show, Justin.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know about you, Dakota. We'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Thank you. Well, nurses and healthcare workers at Warren General Hospital now say they're prepared to walk off the job. They say it's about protecting their patients and their professions. More than 100 members of Warren General's Professional Employees Association have given the hospital leaders a 10-day strike notice. The unionized healthcare workers say they've been sacrificing their own health to care for the Warren community for the past 18 months. The union claims that Warren Hospital's management has ignored their calls for staffing guidelines as the two sides try to negotiate a new contract. The Warren Hospital CEO calls their current offer to the union generous. Well, now to D.C., and the clock is ticking for Congress to address the debt ceiling. But if Democrats, who are in control of the House, Senate, and executive, some questions are still remaining about why members are so slow to pass the legislation, as well as some other bills. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp is reporting on a big part of that, which comes down to one rule in the Senate.
The U.S. Senate is essentially split down the center. There's 50 Republicans and 48 Democrats, and the two independents lean more towards the Dems. And with Vice President Kamala Harris making up the 51st tie-breaking decision, it gives the Dems a one-vote advantage in this chamber. But it's not enough to quickly pass legislation. Let's go all the way back to when the legislative branch was created. The Senate tradition of unlimited debate has allowed the use of a filibuster, which by design prolongs debate by delaying or preventing a vote on legislation. It wasn't until 1917 when that changed. The Senate adopted a rule to allow a 2/3 majority, or 66 senators, to end debate, also known as cloture, which then allows them to move to a vote. Fast forward to the 70s, the Senate reduced that number for cloture to 3/5, or 60 of the 100-member Senate. And with the Senate split essentially 50-50, getting that supermajority of 60 votes is tough. But there are rare exemptions.
The yeas are 59 and the nays are 34. The motion to concur is agreed to.
Just last week, the Senate broke a logjam over the debt ceiling, essentially sending a bill to the president to grant a one-time exemption to the Senate rules so the debt ceiling increase can go straight to final passage on a simple majority vote, rather than having to get that 60-vote threshold. Critics of this filibuster rule say it prevents legislation from passing. Senator Bob Casey says there should be a 51-vote threshold to pass legislation.
Reform the rules of the Senate to restore the Senate to what it used to be.
Casey's fellow senator from Pennsylvania, Pat Toomey, wants to keep the rule in place. Members for this rule argue it creates compromise and bipartisanship. But with the Senate narrowly divided, changing this filibuster rule looks dim. At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Coming up, the deadline for holiday shipping. It is near. What you need to know next. And later, how the shortage of champagne might actually be a good thing for some local businesses in our region. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
Hi, I'm Al Steffens, owner of Chautauqua Comics. For the last 28 years, we have been your premier retailer of comic books. But we have so much more.
Located at 214 Fairmount Avenue in Jamestown, the shelves are stocked with everything from superhero to classic G.I. Joe and Star Wars. Looking for Pokemon? Chautauqua Comics has it all.
If you have any questions, stop in today or give us a call. Chautauqua Comics, Al speaking.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our two great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones, because fire is everyone's fight.
This message was brought to you by the Jamestown Fire Department and the Chautauqua Safety Village.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
The Boy Scouts of America is announcing a tentative settlement plan to compensate survivors of sexual abuse. Insurance companies under the Chubb Corporation are making the deal with BSA. Chubb says those entities agree to pay $850 million. That money would go into a trust for survivors that advocates say is the largest of its kind in its history. BSA say the trust could ultimately exceed $2.7 billion. The organization is still in the middle of its bankruptcy proceedings. The plan still needs court approval, too. An attorney for some of the victims say the agreement isn't enough. More than 92,000 claims of sexual abuse by former Scouts have been filed. Well, will former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows be held in contempt of Congress? The House is expected to vote on that matter today after it was recommended by the House Select Committee on the January 6th attack. The committee released new information, including details about Meadows' apparent role in the attempts to overturn the 2020 election, and text from January 6th saying it serves as evidence of former President Trump's involvement. Now, some of the texts that have been released so far were sent to Meadows the day of that attack, like "We are under siege here at the Capitol," and "The president needs to stop this ASAP." Meadows calls the contempt recommendation disappointing, but not surprising, saying it's all about going after former President Trump. Today's expected vote by the full House is the last step before sending the matter to the Justice Department. Well, more than 100 people are unaccounted for in Kentucky as of last night after the deadliest December tornado outbreak on record over the weekend. The death toll from this devastating storm has risen to 88 across the impacted states. Isabel Rosales is on the ground in hard-hit Mayfield, Kentucky with the latest.
Right now, there's over 100 people unaccounted for here in Kentucky, and it will be a daunting task for first responders. Let me show you some of the challenges that they're dealing with, beginning with hazardous debris all over the place, anything from pieces of wood, metal, bricks, glass, anything. They have to tread through this stuff very carefully. They're going to go into buildings. They're going to go into houses. They check in there, nobody there. They spray paint a C. That means clear. Then a secondary crew goes in there, checks their work, makes sure nobody has been left behind. And all of this takes time.
It's still a dire situation.
It's a race against time. Search dogs have been brought in to comb through massive piles of tornado-destroyed ruins in Kentucky in hopes to find anyone who may be buried.
We're going to keep hoping and keep working until we can make sure that everyone has been found and identified and every family has some peace.
Hundreds of miles of death and devastation spawned by at least 5 confirmed tornadoes are being investigated by the National Weather Service.
We actually have one of arguably the longest tornado tracks on the ground in recorded history. At this point, it's scripted at 227 miles long.
Dawson Springs mayor says 75% of the town is gone.
It's just devastating. You can't ride through town and look at it.
We're finding out that the recovery is going to take years.
Kentucky's governor says he believes one of the most rare and powerful tornadoes struck the state.
When what I think will be an F4 and F5 tornado touches down and stays on the ground for 200 straight miles in a state with 120 counties, you have this many counties that have damage and this many counties that need help.
Survivors say they feel lucky to be alive.
We're trying our best to hold on to what we have.
And another challenge here could very well be the weather. Forecasters are keeping a very close eye on this. That's because they're seeing a potential warm up followed by a front that could bring rain and heavy winds. And when you're looking at all of the scattered debris all over the place, that makes for a dangerous situation. We've also seen homeowners, those lucky enough to still have a home, maybe damaged, but they have a home, actually working with volunteers and tarping that up in preparation for the rain there. In Mayfield, Kentucky, I'm Isabel Rosales.
Well, Christmas givers, listen up. It's time to send presents and well wishes to your loved ones now. The U.S. Postal Service warning yesterday this week is expected to be the busiest year for holiday shopping. It expects to sort more than 2 billion pieces of mail. That means for you better send those cards and gifts pronto if you want them to arrive on time. Regular USPS retail ground shipping has a holiday cutoff date of December 15th. That's tomorrow. For UPS, December 21st is its deadline for the 3-day select service when shipping in the U.S. And if you're shipping anything through FedEx, the last day for most ground service is December 15th, also tomorrow. For FedEx Express, you can buy yourself some more time with deadlines starting on the 21st, ending on the 24th for same-day delivery. So unless you want to shell out the big bucks for overnight or rush delivery, you might want to get on it. Certainly, I know that's on a lot of minds of so many people. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. Thank you for joining us here on Facebook Live and, of course, channel 716 on your Roku device. And I heard this the other day, Dakota. I think it was Sunday. It was kind of a joke on the Sirius XM radio that if your gift this year is not that extravagant, not that very nice or expensive, it's because they paid so much for shipping.
Exactly. Well, actually, you see, with all the shipping times, I don't have to worry about it because I got all mine done.
Right. Yeah, it's so important to get it done.
Because if you want to know what you're getting, everybody out there, if you want to know if I know you and you want to know what I'm getting you for Christmas, it starts with an N, ends with a G, it has an Nothin in the middle.
Nothing? What? Well, I got you something. Maybe I'll just take it back then. All right, let's get to one then. We can't take back is the winds that are out
No,
there. I mean,
can't take back the winds, unfortunately. We had another breezy day yesterday. 24 was the peak wind gust at the Jamestown airport yesterday. And when you compare it to kind of, where we had on Saturday, again, not as strong, but it is kind of noteworthy to kind of mention this because, again, the winds have been kind of breezy and at least the winds have calmed down for today. That's the good news. Now, the meteor shower actually peaked last night, but we still can have a shot of seeing this overnight tonight. So again, we could see up to 100 meteors per hour. Don't count on that. That's the up to number. You're not going to see anywhere near that. But look at the southwest sky. Best time after 2 a.m. And we should, now it won't be as clear as it was last night, but at least with some breaks in the cloud cover, if you get away from the city lights out in the country, you may still have a shot of seeing this. It runs, the meteor shower actually continues for the next several days. So sunshine downtown right now, 40 as a noon hour, east wind to 5, so not much wind out there, but the wind chill is down to 36. But the air temperature actually is above normal again by at least 5 or 10 degrees. But again, talking about those temperatures, they're going to continue to go up and down here. Look at Thursday, 58 degrees. The record for Thursday is 60, set back in 1974. 64, I think it is. It was in the 70s when the record occurred of 60. So we're going to get close to that. Probably won't break it, but we'll get close and then look at where we go for the end of the week going into the weekend. Yeah, back down into the 40s once again, but it's December. We're supposed to be cold around here. But high pressure still in control across the Northeast. We do have a weak cold front that has moved through, but the cold front really hasn't produced much of anything. That's why it's weak. So the newest run of future scan shows you, just a few clouds from time to time. The clouds will start to increase as we go through the overnight hours. So partly cloudy to begin. Then it will turn mostly cloudy overnight. Tomorrow should be a partly to mostly cloudy day. Then we'll see these rain showers coming in through the day on Wednesday. Should be all liquid. We're not expecting any snow showers to mix in with that. And then by the time we go into Thursday, we'll see our next chance for more rain and also with those near record temperatures as well. So 43 at 1 o'clock today. Yeah, it should be partly to mostly sunny out there. Watch for the sunset once again. Temperatures likely once again around the lower 40s. And then by the time we go into the nighttime hours here, 45 at 5 o'clock. And then by the time we go into the nighttime hours, 36 at 9. And should be partly cloudy at that point. Now, the next 7 days are coming up on the screen, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Again, there you see that record, 60, 1975. I was close on that record. And by the time we go into early next week, we'll see a few snow showers. Take a break. Be right back.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
Happy holidays from WNY News Now.
Well, like with many other items this holiday, we're seeing a shortage in booze like champagne. But it's not all bad news. As Erie News Now's Haley Potter learned, some of our local wineries are actually expecting even better sales because of it.
Many are saying cheers to the holiday season, but this year we are seeing a shortage in booze like champagne and skyrocketing prices that are fueled by the shipping crisis, a lower supply coming in, and of course a higher demand as people are looking for excuses to celebrate. But this shortage has some local wineries clinking their glasses.
It shouldn't affect us very much at all.
Sam Best and his wife own Lakeview Wine Cellars in Northeast and struggled through the pandemic. So he tells me this nationwide shortage could certainly help our local wineries.
We have a plentiful supply on hand, and we're always in the process of making more throughout the year.
He says because all of the wine is bottled here locally, this shortage doesn't impact them all that much, and notes the importance of shopping local anyway.
What people don't realize is we're able to do as well here as they do any place in the world. When you're buying your products local, they're actually made from local grapes in the area. So we don't source anything from out of state.
Similar story at South Shore Wine Company, who have seen an uptick in sparkling wine sales.
The sparkling Chardonnay and Riesling are top of the line, and I'd put them up against a lot of sparkling wines from a lot of other regions, including France.
Blaine Ballard is a brand ambassador for Mazza family of wines and says having a local option goes a long way, helping consumers in this shortage while also helping the local economy.
It really supports not just our wineries, but the farmers that contribute to us, which are predominantly local, the workers that work on those farms.
Haley Potter, Erie News Now.
Looks tasty, Haley. Thank you.
One of those rare times when you actually get to drink on the job when you do a story like that.
I know, you gotta love it. And she mentions that All of these bottles are here locally and ranges about $15 to $25. So that's not bad for a nice pail of vino. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. That's it for us today. We'll leave you with this live look over Chautauqua Lake. News 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. Have a great day.